just what an amazing atmosphere we're experiencing here. And that's before this final has even started. Jayson Shaw was in the final of another Matchroom event earlier in the year. Not on this scale, but still a very prestigious title, the Premier League, such a strong field. And he was absolutely devastated in a way I don't think I've ever seen after a final, when he was beaten by Francisco Sanchez Ruiz. It means so, so much to him. I mean it as a good thing when I say that we may see tears from Jayson if he wins the title tonight. That's how much it means to him.
Well, looks like 2 good lags to start, if that's any indication. Jayson Shaw really almost freezes it to the rail.
I think we've just broken the world record for the loudest ever cheer at the end of a lag. Wonderful stuff in Hanoi.
Thank you. The first track, Jayson Shaw.
Jayson Shaw from Scotland, now based in the United States. A Mosconi Cup legend with Europe. He will start us off.
Struggled with the break in the semi-final. Didn't make the one ball in the side consistently. Boy, what a start this is, JJ.
Yeah, absolutely. And I looked at the lag in both semifinals. It meant something in each of them, especially for Albin. He broke around the first couple before Ko Ping Chung even got out of the chair. And I'll tell you, if nerves are flowing, how you like this one to start? The 2 ball just inches from the hole, the pink near.
Put your phone
Of course,
on
it's going to
silent,
have to work.
please.
You always got to work, but this one here can settle you in pretty quickly.
Both of these players came straight through without having to go to the loser's side, and Shaw has actually had a relatively untroubled path here. Johan Chua pushed him to 10-6 in the last 32. Chua of the Philippines team that won the World Cup of Pool in Spain in the summer, and against Federer Gorst in the quarterfinals, he had his closest match, was 9-5 up, got pegged back to 9-8 before clinching it in the next rack. So that's been his path to the final, but it's not been the start he was hoping for. This, an unexpected miss on the 4.
Very bad miss, that. I was a little surprised where he decided to leave the cue ball, JJ. I thought he was going to go near the rail. I mean, didn't
You're talking about the first shot?
Yeah, the positional shot. Go to the rail and then, you know, play the cue ball out into the table. But I didn't expect Jayson to miss that. That is purely down to nerves in the opening rack. Listen, both guys have played in front of big crowds. This has the feeling it's a little different.
Yeah, and I was a little shocked he tried to get that much out of it. He could have went forward, taken a little longer shot, getting the cue ball nearer the 8. He tried to get the most out of that pink 4 and attacking here. Oh, I thought he was attacking. He's going to play the safety.
Yeah, Albin Ouschan will not be scared to lay the hook. That's where he backs himself in that department of the game. Jayson knows this. Here comes the short stick.
Yeah, can't get a lot of speed on this unless he happens to land on the pink. He's got to get the cue ball up quickly.
Extension code.
Maybe a bank. Well, I'll tell you what, for the pink just being inches away from the cue ball, Jayson can't be too unhappy with that. This is very odd. He has to creep this up to the position for the purple. I don't think he can put a ton of speed. Yeah, real nice.
Albin Ouschan from Austria, 33 years of age, ranked number 8 in the world. World champion in 2016 and again in 2021. Went close to retaining it last year, beaten by Shane Van Bonen in the final. But by getting there, he became the first and still only player to have reached the World Championship final on 4 separate occasions.
Well, talked about it before. When the pocket's playing a little bit friendly, you could see right there on that 6 ball. On certain shots, you can use a little bit of the rail. Albin is so smart. He knows that's available. Plays position to be able to do that at times. And you got to give percentages in the game, a little favored to Albin Ouschan in this match. But you can throw that out the window overall. This is 1 race to 13, and Jayson Shaw can overcome any percentages. But one thing I saw in the semifinal, Carl, is how much that Albin's break had improved. Really before, and this is a lot of different types of breaks that I've seen throughout his career, where it was very hard for him to repeat whatever he wanted to do. And for the most part, besides one real bad one that was almost very costly against Ko-Ping Chung, he was real solid in that department in the semifinal.
Shaw got the first chance at a bad miss on the 4, and the opening rack has ended up going the way of Albin Ouschan. His progress was far more difficult through the first phase of the competition than it's been in single elimination overall. Both of his matches in that first phase were close. The little-known Singapore player Darren Young took him all the way to the deciding rack, and then Antonius Kakaris pushed him to 9-7. Most of his wins since getting to the final 64 have been by significant margins, but he has had 2 matches for the ages. Earlier today, 5-0 up against Ko-Ping Chung. Got to the hill at 10-7, but it was only after Ko had missed a tough 2 in the deciding rack that Ouschan got in to win that one. And of course, in the last 32, 7-2 down against Shane Van Boning, came back to win 10-8. So he's had his share of drama along the way. He's taken the first rack here, and this is our first look at his break.
Well, you said, JJ, his break had improved, and right on cue, he nails a good break, potting the 1 ball in the side. Looks like he's got a thin shot on the blue 2 into this corner pocket.
Yeah, and, so many great players, but one thing I see with Albin that's different is when he settles the tip, before the last swing on the break, I've never seen, I don't think, a player stay down on the ball so long before actually pulling the trigger on it. It's been a real consistent thing since, the start of the day today that I've seen, and I'm sure it's been like that throughout the week. Well, he's set up really nice to get a break and run on his side and maybe a 2-game lead.
They're going to see the inaugural champion crowned here in Hanoi. Ouschan was also the winner of the first ever staging of the European Open last year in Germany.
Yeah, you read my mind there, Michael. I was just thinking the very same thing. I kind of feel like, they're fans here for both, but I kind of feel like it's a little more for Jayson Shaw, like we saw a week. Maybe Frederick Gorst, the most fans here in Vietnam. Of course, Albin has some, but boy, you'll gain a lot if you're the inaugural winner of the Hanoi Open Pool Championships.
Yeah, really, since then it's not been what Ouschan would have hoped for. It's been a very disappointing year for him until now in the big individual tournaments. Had a good World Cup with Austria, 1 rack away from getting to the final.
Well, just watching that cue ball the last couple shots, Carl, seems like this table's starting to break in a little bit, really checking on the side rails with the side spin.
Yeah, we know that's what happens after a bit of play on a pool table. Gonna have to come off the top rail. Landed a little bit short. Could use 2 rails, 1 rail. The thing is with Albin is he's got so much experience in these settings just because he's won so much. It's as simple as that. And when Jayson missed that 4 ball, Albin may have been tempted to play the bank, decided it was a little risky, played the hook, won him the rack, and now it's looking good for rack 2 with a break and run. He's keeping the heat on Shaw.
Yeah, that little shot on the 7, even though he wanted to be straight, not have to move the ball, that's not the worst thing early to, to use a little movement on the cue ball. You're going to need it. It's going to be necessary. So some of those simple ones early, not the worst thing.
Early stages, but it's quite reminiscent so far of the start he made against Ko Ping Chung in the semi-final earlier today. He led 5-0 in that one. He already leads 2-0 here. Yeah, two very different semi-finals, weren't they? All the drama of that deciding rack in a wonderful atmosphere as Ouschan saw off Ko Ping Chung. Earlier in the day, it had been so straightforward for Shaw against Sanjin Pelovanovic, coming through by 11 racks to 2. And you look through the year, we've had the 5 big Matchroom Open events. There's also the World Championship, so it's 6 big field Matchroom tournaments, and not only are we going to end up with 6 different winners from them, we'll have 12 different finalists. Nobody has managed to reach the final of more than one event of this scale so far in 2023, and well, this is the last of these tournaments. What a spread it's been.
Thank you. The third rack, Albin Ouschan to break.
It shows you the growth of the
Leading by
game.
2 racks to 0.
How many great players there are.
Nine ball's going close. Caught the back rail. That won't matter.
What's this?
Albin's dialed in on the break here. 2 from 2, JJ.
Yeah, the 9 was close, Carl. The 6 ball came around and I think got in front of a potential 3-9 combination. Yeah, he definitely takes on the blue 2 cross side. If that 6 ball did interfere on what would be an early combination and another game on his side. Now you probably still got to take this bank on, I think, and maybe play for the triple combination on the 3-9-6.
Chance for sure. This is going to set up. Don't know if he can come very close to that triple combo you were talking about.
Jayson Shaw, 35 years of age, ranked number 6 in the world.
And this is awkward. Quite a bit of cut on the 3 to quite a bit of cut on the 9 to have any chance to pocket the green 6. What other options are there?
Extension code.
And he needs to hit it with speed. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Did he get down and play that really, really quickly?
I think he
Yeah.
did, but I think the safety side of it's not Jason's strongest point, so I think he's a bit eager and maybe don't want to kind of bear down on it, as crazy as that sounds. Maybe he just wanted to rush it because he's a little bit scared of the shot.
Like he wants to get it over with.
Extension code.
Possibly.
Yeah, and it looked like he had to play it with a hair of side to really, grab the 3 enough. But regardless, though, even if that's not your strong suit, which I think Jayson doesn't get enough credit at times in that department, but you can't make those mistakes.
when he's playing well, he's just so dependable. He has a chance to open an early 3-game advantage here, despite Shaw having had chances to win 2 of those 3 racks.
And now Albin, he'll just lay up for the 7 up in the top left corner. The 8 does pass the 9. It appears so anyways. Doesn't have to play to the short pocket. I know it's a race to 13, and we always talk about you got to stay patient. But that means a little more without, you know, much opportunity. And so far, the first few games, Jayson's had a couple of opportunities.
Yeah, and it's the opportunities. Well, when we're watching on JJ, it's just not boded well, has it? It's not like he's missed a tough long pot or, you know, kicking out of a shot and it's slightly gone wrong. We're talking about a couple of issues with the old back arm.
And especially after winning a very, very good lag and even a better break to get started in this final.
Jayson Shaw walked into the arena at the start of this Hanoi Open final to the song "We Found Love." But if it keeps going like this, he'll be in a hopeless place. Albin Ouschan leads 3-0. Much for Jayson Shaw to ponder. The chances, both first rack and the third. In between it was a break and run from Albin Ouschan. What it all adds up to is a 3-0 lead for the Austrian. But a long way to go. 13 required to win the first ever Hanoi Open.
Cue ball's lurking towards the corner, but it's 3 from 3 on the one ball in the side.
Now here, Carl will get a good look. He can cue the ball. There is a cross-side bank there. But, you know, when you see your opponent maybe struggling a little bit to start, and you're on the fence, safety or go for the shot, do you make a decision based on that maybe?
I think Albin Ouschan does. I think he's one of the masters in that department. If he feels like he's not a favourite to attack the table, even if it's like 60-40%, he'll play safe.
I don't think he can come off the left going up table. I think it's something like maybe dig on the cue ball, trying to drop the cue ball behind the 3 maybe. Hard to tell the angle.
Extension, please.
He'd love to come off the left and guide behind the 7-8, maybe the 6, but I don't think that's there. Not naturally anyways. All right, he's hitting a high ball, so just floating behind the 9 maybe. He's gone behind the purple. Did give a look at the blue too, so.
By getting to the final, Jayson Shaw is guaranteed that he'll be in the Mosconi Cup team once again for Europe in early December. Looks like he feels that rolled off a bit, JJ.
Yeah, it didn't take much time to really kind of throw his hands up though. So hard to believe. I mean, he hit it light, but for a ball to roll off so quickly after cueing it, that doesn't happen very often. It's usually down the table a little bit.
You were a little surprised he didn't go for the combo?
Yeah.
I know the cue ball was on the rail, but I'm not saying I knew where the cue ball was going after the combo, but the 2-8 didn't look that difficult.
Well, Jayson Shaw, U.S. Open. Yeah, here though it's treacherous. U.S. Open champion, but kind of feel like he may need to bury a big ball at some time, right? And put some racks together.
Yeah, even that shot there, he was trying to get behind the 3, but the fact that the cue ball's landed on the rail means Shaw is still in trouble.
Can he beat the double kiss trying to go behind the 4, 6, 7 with the cue ball? Yeah, he did. It's going to be overhit though a little bit. Going to get behind the 8. All for a jump shot, maybe a kick.
Shaw winning earlier and clinching his Mosconi place ended Ouschan's hopes of making a late charge to get in automatically, but by returning to form here this week and getting to the final, he's made a very strong case to get one of the 2 wildcard picks, especially with all his experience. 6 times he's played in the Mosconi, only been on the losing side once.
Okay, definitely a makeable 2 ball. He's got to find a little gap for the 3. Then the real work starts with the 4, 6, 7, 8 grouped upstairs.
This is no good, JJ.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't take on the cut. I thought it was a cuttable ball. I know there's a mess of balls, like we said, the 4, 6, 7, 8, but
Can Albin squeeze the bank in? He's got to play it firm. It's a little too high. Trying to use the 9 ball. Look at the speed. This is where he excels. Jayson knows this is where he's up against it.
Shaw just hasn't really got stuck into this final yet. It's not because he hasn't had the opportunities.
So much congestion. You hate to kick super light, but I think somewhat on the light side here on one rail. Don't want to hit it super light. That way if you come behind it, you know, want to make sure you get a cushion after contact. He isn't going to mind this. Not one bit.
When we talk about this place being pool mad, we're not kidding and we're not exaggerating. It has to be seen to be believed, and they made a big impact on the tournament, the Vietnamese. 6 of them made the final 64. None of them managed to get any further.
Wants to come across this. Edge this into the 6 maybe, go over. Some other options. Oh, he could shoot it between the 6-7.
It's left a jump shot though, JJ.
Absolutely. Just depending, he may get a little action on the 9 cross corner where he's trying to play the 2. Don't think there'll be enough speed there, but never know. When the ball gets in the air, funny things happen.
Yeah, it looks a little low as well, doesn't it? Now we've gone back to the camera angle.
That's not going to make Shaw feel any better.
Can he cut this in? If he is, he's going to take his chances going in some balls. So firing on all cylinders at the moment.
Seen it firsthand when I was vice captain of the Mosconi Cup in the practice room. Albin Ouschan was the player who was always excelling at the soft rolls and the, you know, the drills that Alex Laley brought to the practice room. He was the man who was always on top.
Well, these two have been partners in the Mosconi Cup. They've played 5 doubles matches together. Won all of the first 3. They've lost 2 in a row since then, but they were both hill-hill. Oh, look at this. Could this be the moment? It starts to turn around for him. He really looked like he needed something like this to happen.
Yeah, in position on the pink, I believe. We're going to look in a moment.
I think when Albin played the safety shot, he just bumped the 6 into a potable position, JJ.
I think so. I think you have to be in a nice spot to be able to make it, or at least let's say make it without much worry. Thing is, you can make it from a few different places, but to get position on the 7 easily as well. Yeah, this one's going to be a little more ticklish. I don't know if he can draw off of this ball. May have to go forward.
Well, he's down quick.
Well, that answers that question.
Shaw actually uses the opposite hand when he's using the bridge. Plays lefty, uses the bridge with his right hand.
Yeah, he's a right-eye dominant player, and oh my.
Another quick one, JJ. I'd like to take another look at this one. Seemed to be right down on the shot and just pull the trigger.
Yeah, no pre-strokes, no kind of tuning in on it.
He's all at sea here. His head isn't right. He's not settled into this match at all yet.
just going to comment. He plays golf right-handed. He does a few things. Or even knows. Let one get away there. Be lucky to get back to the table, I'll tell you.
Well, first clips in the 7. He's looking a little anxious, but really it's likely he's not going to get a good position on the 8. He's absolutely fine here, and Jayson Shaw brought the house down with that 3. But he really, after that, had to make it lead somewhere.
I'm just so used to seeing Jayson pop balls for fun. You know, he's played well all week. Got off to a slow start against Sanjin. Sanjin just didn't show up in the semi-finals, but I can't believe what I've seen here so far from Jayson.
And Mr. Efficiency, Albin Ouschan, has mopped up the rest, and he leads 4-0. So what can Jayson do, Carl, to start turning this round? As much in his own head as anything else?
Well, it's a good question. I'm not sure, just because for me his strength is pocketing the balls. He plays purely on instinct. I was surprised in the first rack. The second rack, played that poor safety. I think he's just rushing maybe a hair when he gets down on the shot. JJ, have you spotted anything?
Yeah, absolutely. Both times. You know, the missed 4 in the first game, I think he tried to get too much out of the cue ball and made it a little bit of a missable ball. You know, the 7 there is just like the safety in game number 3 on the red 3 ball. Just kind of got down. I wouldn't say took it for granted. Just didn't go through his little process.
Thank you.
And now the problem is he's got to pray for a shot. Because Albin Ouschan's breaking the ball as well.
It's great to want it so much. It's not so great to let that get in your own way. Shaw seems to be doing that at the moment, and he's already 4-0 down.
Oh, this might help. This might help.
Power shot.
I was just going to say we commented on Shaw about his year, and really run a little over a year where, you know, when things weren't going his way, he really got frustrated at times. And, you know, that was when really not a lot of mistakes from himself. He just not a lot of opportunity. And now after a few mistakes, where might the frustration set in?
Yeah,
or win, rather. Sorry, Carl.
You know, just saying the purple 5 is tied up. I don't know if he can play a carom. Looks a little low.
This has got to slow down a little bit. I think the kiss shot off the 5 into the 9 is playable. Looks like it, but it doesn't take much for it to not be playable, of course. That overhead tells me it's got a chance. Maybe taking a little frustration out on the blue too there.
Yeah, the overhead looks like the carom is available. The other problem at all, JJ, is the fact that in the semis, Jayson was not breaking well. He wasn't making the 1 ball. So if that continues against someone like Albin, who pushes out very clever, plays safety very clever, it's going to be a tall order.
Yeah, it was a few of the Matchroom people that asked me prior to the match what I thought. I just thought Jayson needed a pretty good start. Not to necessarily have to win, but to get himself in his best position. I think he needed the cue ball a little higher here. This looks awfully thin on the purple to get at the 9 properly.
This really is turning into a nightmare start for Jayson Shaw. Came in here, getting the crowd on his side, encouraging them. So full of determination and enthusiasm. And really, since that miss on the 4 in the opening rack, it just hasn't got any better.
Well, I think he knew he wasn't in the prime position. Maybe kind of rushed that one as well. But when you get it that close, you feel like it was makeable, though. And I'll tell you, he couldn't have got much better roll considering he did leave a shot. Cue ball to rail 5, looks to be froze on the opposite cushion. Not easy.
Yeah, very easy to send the 5 into the rail too soon and just miss the 9 ball.
Started the 5th rack. Oh! By scratching. And finished it in exactly the same way. Well, Jayson Shaw has been desperate to get a rack. He hasn't been able to do it for himself. And he's finally got the chance to do it here. Handed to him in such unexpected fashion.
Yeah, and he was so focused on the combo, just lost the route of the cue ball.
This needs to travel, JJ. Yeah, he's got out there. He can screw it over onto the side rail, play the 9 in the same pocket. Well, he's decided to come back over. Maybe just trying to get that back arm going a little bit.
Well, I was going to say he should take advantage of these 4. Barely getting the 9 down.
It had to be that way, didn't it? After everything we've seen, you knew when he finally potted a 9 ball to win a rack, it was probably going to struggle for survival on its way in. So, as I said, it was handed to him there. Ouschan did make the combination, but scratched as well, gave up ball in hand. So he's actually winning a rack enough to settle him into it, or does he also have to start playing a bit better to put those misses really out of his head?
Well, he's on the board. That's all you can ask for, but he's clearly not cueing very well, is he, JJ? Something's not quite right out there. I don't know if it's the occasion, the amount of fans we've got in here, but he's just not timing the cue ball too true at the minute.
It is very much an all-European occasion here. Scotland against Austria in the final, and that's Desislava Bojalova from Bulgaria
Thank you, rack
refereeing.
six.
Must
Jayson
feel a bit
Shaw,
outnumbered around here, JJ.
trailing by 4 racks to 1.
Yeah. Well, this one here, this part of the game can get you going. That's for sure. Any 9 ball player, the break is just kind of like your charm at times. A thin one here on the blue 2. It does play. Not easy. It's got a cross side bank as well. Position here though, so probably a safety. Really, really good. Very difficult escape here for Albin Ouschan. He'll consume all the shot clock and maybe the extension, trying to get at this one, excuse me.
Extension code.
Well, this is going to take some hitting. Trying to go 1, 2, 3 rails into the ball, pot it in the corner past the pink. Is that the plan?
Power shot. Ball in hand.
We always say, don't we, how things can change so quickly and in such unpredictable fashion. Ouschan made the combination. Looked like he was going 5-0. Scratched, which I don't think any of us saw coming. And then suddenly, Shaw gets the break, makes a ball, gets the chance to play the good safety. Now he's forced ball in hand from that. And he can get back to only 2 behind. None of which would have happened if Ouschan had kept the cue ball on the table with his last shot of rack 5.
Yeah, and as great You know, ball pocketer as Jayson is just like any of us. When the timing gets off a bit, all that goes away. It's the great timing that makes him so special, knocking them balls in. And at the moment, it's a little bit of a struggle. All right, got to dig into this. Could even draw one rail into the 8 to hold the cue ball. It's not the worst idea.
He keeps giving us something to think about, doesn't he? Putting himself through the ringer over and over again. And he must now be at a stage of thinking, just get this 8 and 9 down. Let's see where we can take it from there. So had the bit of good fortune at the end of the previous rack. He's controlled this one from start to finish, and Jayson Shaw has won 2 in a row now. Looking a bit different, but he's got to start playing with a bit more confidence than this. Ouschan's lead is 4-2. They've come in vast numbers throughout the week here in Hanoi, the capital city of Vietnam. And look at the crowd we have for this final. And quite honestly, I don't even think those pictures do full justice to just how packed this place is and how many people are here to watch the final. Things looking up a bit for Jayson Shaw. Still a couple behind, though.
Seems to have made the 1 ball on the break. How much of the 6 ball is in his way on this long 2 ball?
He wandered over to where we are at the end of the last rack. Carl, can you tell us anything about what he said to you?
Yeah, well, you know how hot it is in here, so me and JJ get ourselves off for a bit, and he kind of just wandered over, venting his frustration. I just stood there not really responding. He was just saying he just changed his mind on a couple of shots.
Well, I was just going to say the long ball, tell you what, that always can get you going. Just give you the belief you can start to make them all. And I liked what he did there also. He didn't back down with the movement of the cue ball at all, really. He could have laid up on the side rail, trying to play the 3 in the corner, then having a maneuver for the 4 on the side. Now in a great position. And he could really get this crowd on his side, I think. I think both players could, but even more so Jayson Shaw could play a big part in this final.
All of a sudden, it's got a very different feel to it. Ouschan looked like he was going to lead 5-0. In fact, it looked as though he did lead 5-0 when he made that combination. Sometimes we're maybe a bit too over-eager to identify turning points, but you don't really need to be giving it too much thought to spot where it's come in this final.
Thought he'd get a lot more out of that, Carl. A little awkward off the side rail.
Yeah, he's potted a couple of balls and they've not gone in clean, so this is a test to hit.
Well, that was a very nice rack. That was a 9, just to test the confidence a bit. Looks a bit less fragile now, and he's got his first break and run of the final. Shaw only 1 behind now at 4-3. And of course, we're used to seeing European players winning these big titles, Carl, but not many British players have won events of this sort of stature in recent times. You think of Darrell Peach, Darren Appleton, and also Darren and yourself winning the World Cup of Pool together. So it would be a big moment if Jayson was to win this.
Yeah, he stands a better chance of doing it now. It was looking very bleak out there. I think the timeout come at the right time. He could just get out of the arena, cool himself down, and you know yourself, JJ, you start giving yourself a talking to, don't you? And you know, sometimes you can learn a lot in that little timeout.
It was good, actually. I thought that he left the setting for a moment at the end of the 6th rack for a break, because when he was 3-0 down, he was the one who actually stayed in his chair. Ouschan removed himself for a moment.
Oh, dry break so far. The 1 in the corner, but the cue ball as well. May get fortunate, though, that the 2 is not playable offensively. So even though it won't be a very fun situation, he comes back to the table for at least it's an opportunity to do something. That's what you said in about a semifinal. A little here and there with the break shot.
Albin will be desperate to get the cue ball touching the 3. That cuts out so many escapes.
I think he cut off that side rail. There's a 2-rail escape kind of wrapping the corner. That lower right corner on your screen, you'd rather take the same path the blue 2 took. That gives you options to get maybe behind the 8, maybe behind the purple 5. I don't think he can put a ton of speed on this, though. Now, when he kicks at this, if he hit, oh, he's going to go to the 3rd rail, huh? Is that asking a little much? Or is he trying to get behind it, maybe send the 2 over behind the 8, the 5, and the 7?
Foul shot. Ball in hand.
So now on 2 fouls. 9-ball pool, 3 consecutive fouls by the same player is a loss of game. Prevents kind of like stalemate situations like snooker, and most of these guys though they're gonna try and clear the table if it's open.
Ralph Eckert, the European captain for the Mosconi Cup, is here. He's been in Hanoi all week. And if Albin Ouschan wins this title tonight, he'll be here to see it. And I saw the two of them actually chatting before the final began. I think you'd have to say Ouschan would be a big favourite to get one of the wild cards if he's holding the trophy in a couple of hours from now. Joshua Filler strongly fancied for the other one. So if it was to be Filler and Ouschan, the team would be exactly the same as that which won in Las Vegas last year. Shaw, David O'Cady and Francisco Sanchez Ruiz already certain to be there through automatic qualification.
Captain America up against the same team, looking likely. How do you feel about that?
Oh, that's fine by me. That's the team I'd like to beat, to be honest with you.
Give answers like that all through Mosconi week, JJ, and you'll go far.
JJ, how close are you to picking your wild cards? Have you been thinking about it, or is it something you're just going to start thinking about tomorrow?
Well, it's hard not to think about it. I mean, it means so much to me, and of course so many others. All the thought I can, but the main thing I got to do is not overthink it, Carl. I think, you know, I think you can do that in any situation. I'm not sure exactly the time frame yet when we're going to have those 2 picks in, but I think Matchroom's going to announce that probably tomorrow or the next day.
So they tell you when you have to pick?
Please.
Yeah, usually they come with somewhat of a date. Okay, just, you know, just to stay away from being uncomfortable.
Well, I know a pretty good vice captain if you're on the lookout, JJ.
I think Michael's that busy that week. Are you talking? Oh, not talking about Michael.
Phil, I was talking about.
Phil. I think we'll have Phil in a little while, by the way. So Albin here to get back on the board in game number 8.
Yeah, lost 3 in a row before that, but Ouschan has taken that one, and now he leads 5-3. And just another point about the Mosconi, JJ, wonderful for these two players, both of whom could be on the European team. We know one of them will, to be experiencing this Mosconi-esque atmosphere in this setting just a few weeks before the event itself. You must be frustrated that none of your guys were able to get here and get this as part of the build-up.
Well, yeah, I mean, this would be great for any player for sure, and of course Team USA. Always want them to do well no matter the setting, but they'll be back. We'll be back in Hanoi. I think everywhere we've gone, we've seen something that's getting closer to what we all want, and that's full field stands with a lot of energy.
Yeah, I mentioned Fulda. We went there for the first time last year. Great crowd, same again this time. And Spain was quite an experience. Never really had a pool crowd quite like that outside of the Mosconi. 5-3 Ouschan.
Oh, that's been an awful kiss a couple times for Albin, really. That one there was struck better. A kiss that was very ugly. Let's not forget the granddaddy of them all, Michael, the U.S. Open. I thought the crowds were spectacular there as well.
Yeah, I suppose I'm talking about new venues
events,
that we're not used to being at. But yeah,
absolutely.
And what I really found in Atlantic City was just the sheer knowledge of the crowds there. You could tell, as you pointed out during the week, they're nearly all people who play pool and have been playing it all their lives, and it really came across.
Nice opener there. Good control.
Not to mention Poland as well. Kielce in the snows of February.
Man, it was snowing. It was unbelievable. Okay, he's going to fall a little straight. I guess he can draw down the left, his left a little bit. Oh, he's got to go forward. So a nice shot. Keeping it simple.
Big opportunity this to get himself right back in this match. Things were looking very bleak when he missed that carom to try and put the 9. Looking like going 5 racks to 0 down. So fast forward 15 minutes. He's just 3 balls away to being 5-4 down. Back in this final.
Yeah, and even when he started winning racks, the balls were just wriggling in. He didn't look sure of himself at all, and you sense he's putting the start of this match behind him now. So he's still behind, but he's as close as you could conceivably be. At this stage of the final, Jayson Shaw has won 4 racks to Albin Ouschan's 5. Only one in it. It's feeling like a very different Hanoi Open final now. Albin Ouschan looked like he got into a 5-0 lead. But in making a combination to win rack number 5, he scratched. And things have really changed. Jayson Shaw has now won 4 of the last 5 racks. And now he's breaking with a chance to draw level. 5-4 down, 13 required to win the title.
Yeah, there's that 1 ball again. 3 ball looks like it's going to come in the way along with the green 6. It's going to be the push out. I can't see him going for the jump from here. It's too difficult to control the cue ball.
Jayson Shaw has made his home in the United States, based in Connecticut. When it was announced earlier in the week that Fedor Gorst, another US-based player, was defecting to play for the States, Shaw put out a very straight-faced statement that he was defecting as well, but it was clearly a joke. I think he'd be the last player who would ever desert Team Europe. He's been so important to the success they've had in recent years, and at times it feels like he lives for that event.
I think he'll find himself in a spot of bother here. I can't see Albin Ouschan handing this one back.
Yeah, that was maybe a little too easy off of a push out. You always want to, push out as difficult as possible to where you have a chance to get it back.
Yeah, I feel like Jayson rolling out into that position against Albin is definitely not the move. He'd be better off leaving like a brutal long pot or something where Jayson might take it on. Albin knows he might take it on. Does Albin take it on and miss it? Certainly not going to win these safety battles.
Yeah, that's the real battle in the mind games between the two players. It's a mind game, period. 9-ball pool. I give this one some speed. All things considered, you won't be too unhappy there.
Boy, that was close on the replay. Kicking the 2's easy. Got to try and find a way of getting this safe. Is he going to try and bump it over to the left side of the table off the top rail?
I think you got to go for the corner here. That same corner he took a stab at a moment ago. He may hold the cue ball right behind the 6. This is laying nice with a little draw stroke.
It's not easy this because he can't come over to the side rail in that little gap where the 6 is because he's not going to get on the 4 ball.
I think he's got a follow angle. Could draw it 1 rail out. That is there. You have to have a lot of speed though to avoid that side. It's almost like a bounce effect off the 2.
He likes that shot though. The draw shot. He plays it a lot.
Yeah, this one you feel good about if you knock it in. Caught the 2 a little thick to the pocket, and that's what cost him the cue ball movement. And it's amazing. These are, pretty small pockets overall, and you'd be amazed from one side to the next. Where you pocket that ball at really affects the cue ball and how much it does and does not move. crossing this? I'm not sure what he's doing. Yeah, watch out for the cue ball. May have lost it.
You know, it's been great having all these wonderful stories this year, with Sufi getting to the world final, Raga reaching the final in Germany, and then the Dang Jinhu Beisterbosch final that nobody could have seen coming in Spain. But it's also wonderful to have a final like this, isn't it? All the familiarity of these two who we've been watching for all these years.
And I think you'll see the upper echelon on the rankings, the top ranked players. They want it so much with the World 9-Ball Tour. They'll start to settle in as years go on. And I'm not sure what happened there. I know he's not happy. Did he leave an open shot? He sure did.
We saw Albin Ouschan smashing his cue so hard off the floor during the semi-final earlier. We thought he may even have damaged it. Shaw showing frustration with his cue there, and this is why.
Well, not a lot of people know when Albin Ouschan was a younger player. Certainly when I first started getting into the American version of pool, Albin, he was an angry player. You know, I remember playing in Euro Tour events against Albin, and he was known as a player that you could get under the skin with, and he'd throw the chalk and the cues would go. He really used to let out his frustration, so clearly over the years he's tried to work on that because he's a lot different now.
I think the turning point for him came at the Championship League event in Milton Keynes almost 3 years ago that you and I were both at, Carl. And he was so frustrated and, in the end, so disgusted with his own behaviour, he issued a public apology. And I think he's really smartened up his act since then.
Well, of course, we stay busy and can't watch all the matches. But from what I've seen just here, I see a difference. Now, we saw a little frustration in that semifinal, but did he fall a little straight here? The 7's awkward. Don't think the 7 goes by the 8 in the lower right.
When you've had a significant lead and your opponent starts coming back at you a bit, there's always that psychological thing about staying in front. Don't ever let them get level, because that can be a big tipping point in a match.
Well, that's surprising. It may have to go a little bit.
Tell you what he did do there, though. He waited for the referee to say 5. You know, the referee says 10, and then he was down. He knew 5 was coming, so he let that one go. That's what you've got to do as well. That often goes unnoticed. You've got to manage the shot clock. Don't think he played for the middle, did he, JJ? I think he was trying to play for the bottom left corner, where Jayson Shaw's name is, as we look at the screen. Big moment here in this final.
And it may be the moment where Jayson Shaw finally gets level. He's been behind throughout this entire final so far.
Well, it was a 9-ball. He fell behind it a little bit, similar to that against Ko-Ping Chung. He ended up winning the game after Chung missed a return 9-ball. This is a little funny. He's coming across 2 rails.
Shaw did the same, though. You see how he waited for the 5? Did exactly the same. He was down on 10. He was queuing for quite a long time. As soon as the referee said 5, he was ready to pull the trigger.
And another confident 9-ball dispatched. Jayson Shaw, from 4-0 down, is already level as early as the 10th rack. It's 5-all. What are you referring to there, Carl? That they don't want to be distracted by the call of 5, so they wait till that's gone and then hit it. Is that it?
100%. If you're down on the shot and you're queuing up and you're about to pull the trigger and somebody shouts out, that is going to make you jump. So what the players are doing is they're just down on the shot, So if you get down on 10, 5 seconds is not a long time, is it? You're probably down and you're probably ready to pull the trigger, aren't you, on about 5 seconds? So they have to wait for the 5 and then they're pulling the trigger. JJ, we spoke about this today, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. It came up a couple times yesterday with Federer Gorst, and you know, it's hard to say if it gets you or not, because you know, if the ball goes in, you know, you're not going to replay it, right?
Thank
So
you, rack 11.
you know, when you do miss it, it can be something to point out, but definitely the players noticed it yesterday, and it seems like they're paying attention today.
Well, this didn't look likely. It's 5-all.
Well, if this cue ball has any movement on it, he's going to have a chance to maybe take a lead. It just doesn't seem like Jayson. He's making some balls, maybe not the most consistent with it, but not getting the spreads quite like Albin. The 3 doesn't pass the 5. If the 3 passed the 5, he may go ahead and just chop this 2 in, going back and forth with the cue ball.
Yeah, he's not getting the splits off the break, but I'll tell you what, he would snap your hand off to be at 5-5. He was sat in his chair 20 minutes ago thinking, when he missed that carom, I'm going to be 5 down in the final. Now it's 5-5. This match is... He's back in the mix here. He's back in this final.
Nothing new about seeing players imploding towards the end of a final. He was doing it right at the start.
2-ball needs to keep going. I don't think he's got that. I'm a little surprised he didn't chop the 2-ball down the rail, then play safe on the 3.
Yeah, well, even if the 3 went by the 4, I thought he may chop it and get over fall on that side. But the one thing there on that safety is he really wanted to get the snooker. So he tried to play the 2-3 rails around instead of just chopping it to the top rail and then trying to get the snooker. The good thing about chopping it to the top rail, when you don't get the snooker, at least you're leaving distance and not really an offensive shot. He's got to put some speed into this, going up to the top rail and back down. It's just so good with the cue ball.
Yeah, it's run on a hair too long. But at least he's come near the 3-ball.
And that's the brutal part about pool. You have an angle that's going away, but it's not a real big angle, so it doesn't make it so easy to work the cue ball.
Fantastic effort there. That's not too bad. It is a little thinner than this crowd think, I bet. You can see the 3 pop up in the air there.
Yeah, just because the cue ball popped a little bit, hit down on it. He can dig on this and go around the 5. He can hit a natural high ball going 3 rails. Now, is this a 6 play or is it a kiss shot on the 9?
Ouschan wasn't able to stop Shaw getting level. Certainly wants to stop him getting in front. All the momentum with the Scot at the moment. He's won 5 of the last 6 racks here. But he hasn't won this one because Ouschan has made the 6-9 carom to get his nose back in front at 6-5. You were talking earlier about your 2 picks for the Mosconi, JJ, and you've still got to finalise those. What will you be doing then? Will you ring the guys individually to let them know, or just wait for the announcement to come out? And what about the guys who might be in contention that miss out? Will you inform them personally as well?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the ones that spent the time traveling around the events, even the ones that, you know, just could make the events they tried to or they could make. You know, you want to let them know that, you know, their efforts were appreciated, and of course want to see that continue. You know, whether it be for the youth coming up, you You know, they always need mentors, those players trying to make the team next year or the years after. But of course, you got to contact them. And
Albin Ouschan to break.
you always got to ask them if it's okay that you're on that team. And yeah, there's definitely communication.
Ouschan back in front, 6-5.
I'll tell you, I think Jayson, considering everything going on in this match so far, he's got to feel blessed to be at 6-5. Seems like Albin's breaking the balls a little more consistent. It's been a few nasty kisses on the cue ball that developed into a couple scratches. And this is the worrisome part for me if I'm Jayson. Looks like Albin can sit him down for some time if just things go a little bit his way.
I was saying earlier today, Ouschan has been such a good, strong finisher of big matches and big tournaments in recent years. Shaw, more of an unknown quantity in that regard. Although, of course, he has clinched the winning point in the Mosconi Cup on a couple of occasions.
He knew it. He caught the two a little thick to the pocket. He wanted a little more bounce off the end rail, that second cushion. And now very straight, off the rail with the cue ball, but the pink on the opposite end. So you're going to have to take a long one here from near the rail, Carl?
Yeah, when you look at the overhead, he's got nothing to really work with.
You hate to try and, you know, put all that low right coming back to the rail, come one rail either on top of the 6 or behind it. Oh, is he really entertaining a Masse? Can't tell from the overhead, but he's got the cue way jacked up here. Wow. I think that climbed on top of the rail there, Carl.
Yeah, which is fine as it comes back down. We'll see it here. And I think, well, maybe it didn't quite.
Yeah. Sounded like it.
It certainly seemed that way, didn't it?
That's a hard shot to pull off. You know, something fun you do here and there, but never dreamed Albin Ouschan would try that.
Deserved the friendly flick on the 5, which has given him a shot at the 4.
Yeah, it's a shot that comes up a lot, isn't it, JJ, when you leave yourself straight. And, you know, when you're practicing on it in an exhibition, you can play that shot where you bend the cue ball up, but the pros don't really take it on a lot in matches, do they? Let alone a final.
No, and normally when they do, the object ball is much closer to the cue ball. I mean, that object ball was a foot and a half away. And oh, he let it go a little bit, maybe.
Many a player would have gone for that 5 ball, JJ.
Yeah. It did look like, okay, he did snooker him. I was going to say it did look like a safety that was hard to miss, though.
I get that, but you know what it's like? People like to play attacking. Cue ball needs to stay dry. Well, it stayed dry, but he's left Albin a shot at this 5 ball. That's what I mean. He's just very good at making them decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. Cueing over the pocket. Always a little funny.
This is what he's been missing, isn't it? He was so used to being in big finals there for about 18 months or so. Apart from that good World Cup he had with Austria, where they got within 1 rack of reaching the final in Spain back in the summer. It's been a disappointing year for him in events of this nature. Got to the quarterfinals of the World Championship, but still came away disappointed after losing. A strange match, really, against the surprise package, Mohamed Soufi. But increasingly early exits from the big open events over the last few months. This is back where he belongs, playing in a big final and a couple of balls away here from opening a 2-rack gap once again. Jayson Shaw came charging back at Albin Ouschan, but the Austrian is just reasserting himself here, and he's now past the halfway point in his quest for the 13 it takes to win the title. He leads 7-5.
Matchroom sẽ có một bài post cho một mini game diễn ra từ giờ cho đến cuối trận đấu. Matchroom
What a final is going on here. All of the ingredients are in place. Two world-class players, a tied scoreboard, and one has to say, a simply wonderful crowd. They've got it down delightfully, reacting when big shots occur, but also showing respect when the players are down on shots and maintaining perfect silence. It really is the ideal environment for a classic. We've had so many on the World 9-Ball Tour in finals this year. The last one, the European Open in Fulda, went the distance, and who'd be surprised if this one didn't go to the wire also. Albin Ouschan looks to me, though, slightly the cooler, slightly the more calculated, slightly the more composed.
sound on your phones, please. Please check them. Thank you.
The only thing we can say with any certainty, Jeremy and Carl, what a great occasion. I've been watching from the sidelines, and I've not just been watching the pool, I've been watching the audience. They are loving every minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Phil, just like I have my entire trip here in Vietnam. It's been something special to see all these fans, and throughout the city, really, they've recognized the pool players, it seems like, and it doesn't matter where you're at. It just shows you not only how much they keep up with international pool, but how much it means to them as well. Okay. Well, he's not even going to look at the 2-rail scape here. He's going to go right to the jump cue, and this is pretty thin. Looking right down the barrel at it. He can get at the blue 2. But I would have to entertain the 2-rail kick here with so much traffic on the table.
Extension, please.
But we talked about it. We felt like Jayson needs to bury a big shot and put some racks together in this set.
Ooh, that was a good effort. That was close. Hit both jaws. And it's going to leave Albin a long shot, a shot where he's probably going to need to draw the cue ball back.
Yeah, excellent effort here, and it's just hard to time the thin ones, just because anytime the cue ball's bouncing, the ball can cut a little differently.
Extension, please.
I think he was very happy with the effort. Just wanted a little more out of the result. Now here the 3 does go, I think maybe by the purple. It definitely goes in the right middle. So a little power needed from distance.
So many people in this room. It's very humid. And I do think the table is arguably less reactive this evening than at any point in the tournament.
Yeah, it's fair to say, and I think the rails are breaking in a little bit, but a little funny here, just because of where the pink 4 is at. How close can he get to it? This may be a little tight going by the purple as well. Yeah, even shaved the purple going by. Pool balls will do some amazing things, Phil. How's that ball shave the 5 at that speed from that angle and still go in the corner?
And it was quite a hefty flick as well, Carl, wasn't it? It didn't just graze off the 5.
No, that's right.
Now is this right between the 6 and 8? I don't see him cueing down much.
Speed looks wonderful as well. Really does.
I always talk about it. You want to learn pool, learn the natural path off the object ball. They always talk about the tangent, which is important, and you'll learn that later. The natural path is the one that really means the most in my eyes.
JJ, explain the difference between the two to somebody who's watching who simply doesn't have a clue what you're talking about.
Well, a tangent is like a 90-degree angle off the ball, and those you can just kind of calculate with a perpendicular kind of angle off the ball. But the natural roll through, what it wants to do naturally if you're just putting a roll on the object ball, those are the ones that are really going to teach you the pass around the table a little more often, especially when it comes to pocketing the ball as well. That's where you see these players, they'll go 4 rails sometimes, and you'll wonder why. It laid a little more natural to do so. And when pressure's on, if you can go with the natural path more often, well, you're not going to miss near as many balls, and your speed control is going to be much better. That's why we always talk about a couple of players that use a lot of stun. Stun's a must, but I wouldn't say it's the most, used shot in the game. I think it's more of the roll your ball kind of shot that means the most.
Yeah, I think when you talk about stunning the cue ball, it's pretty much more in the game of snooker. I think in 9-ball you always try and let the cue ball do the work.
Yeah, we just rotate the cue ball. That's why I always talk about the snooker technique. I think it's really apples and oranges, really, where they're trying to eliminate the spin a lot of times, or we're trying to use it really from shot to shot.
From apples and oranges to low-hanging fruit. That's this 9-ball. In it goes. It seems to me as though Albin Ouschan is getting into some kind of groove. He's 3 ahead for the first time since he was 4-1 up. Is he closing in on what's been an elusive first title of 2023? Suffered an early setback. Quarter-finalist in the World Championship. Lost to Mohamed Soufi, who had a really good run of the ball in that match. Then, by his standards, not really making impacts in these major ranking events. Last 16 of the Spanish Open, last 32 of the European Open, and more recently the last 64 of the US Open. He's not been in form, but this could completely revolutionise his mindset and his year.
Well, that looked picture perfect as far as the timing of the swing for the break, and he's going to get a little bit of a thin one from distance, but you got to believe he's going to attack here. There's been a few safeties after the break that has really promoted some wins, but hard to pass on this one. He still may.
Yeah, I think he's got to attack this one.
It looks like he can naturally just kind of go 2 rails above the 9 or by the 9 above it for the 3 in the same corner.
I wonder if he'll play. Can he go 4 rails?
Yeah, good call, Carl. Such an open part of the upper part of the table makes a little more friendlier strike on the 2. And now a big decision from the 3 to the 4. Can start to get some real separation if he gets out here. Especially, you know, for Jayson Shaw, we haven't seen break just time in, time out, you know.
Extension, please.
Being really on point with the break shot. Boy, can he get by the purple much? Okay, he's going to play the safety.
That's creeped out, I believe. There's certainly a piece of the ball that's crept out.
I don't think the bank is that bad. I think the bank's probably on.
Another fine example where he's not scared to play the safety shot. Many players would have tried to grip into that, maybe leave a thin 4. Not 100% where the cue ball would go off potting the 4, so decided to play safe. Keep the pressure on shore.
Yeah, well, when they both come to the table in these tactical battles, I think he's only lost 1 rack in that regard. So. Oh, what a roll at the right time. I'd have to look across the table here at the kick. Maybe cut off, I don't know, with the 6 there. May not be able to kick one rail across.
Yeah, he's won 5 racks, but how many racks has he won convincing?
Well, considering he escaped from a fluke snooker, I don't think we can begrudge him that.
May leave the gap.
Yeah, I'm looking right down the barrel. Carl, you called that one right. Looks like he can get a little to his right side of the 3 as well. Play the 3 up underneath the 9. Trying to coast the cue ball over by the purple 5.
Always been renowned for his containment abilities. Tactically, he's very astute.
Yeah, I really put him. I think him, FSR, and Al-Kaidi, really 3 of the top tactical players out there. I think they win a lot of games with the push out, kick shots, just percentage plays.
Well, that might be 3 of the Mosconi Cup team, JJ.
Well, that doesn't bother me too much.
And of course, we were making the point this afternoon, it could well be an unchanged European Mosconi Cup team from 12 months ago, because wildcard consideration has to be given to this fellow and a certain Joshua Filler.
Yeah, and he started off this campaign with a very scary 9-8 win early. Maybe it was his second round, or was his first or second round in this event.
It was his first match, second round. I was watching, I wasn't commentating, and I know exactly what happened. You won't believe it. He played someone called Darren Young from Singapore, and Young missed a very makeable 7-ball on the verge of beating him.
And Albin trailed in that match, I believe, most of the match, really.
This is what Albin Ouschan does, though. He kind of scrapes himself into these positions, and then on the big moments, in the big matches, he has this knack of just performing better than what he's done 3 days ago. Plays his way into these events. That's why he's won so many of them. 7-2 down to SVB. Come back and got the win.
There was a special guest that showed up this week, Efren Reyes. It was a lot like that as well, and it seems like there's been a lot of greats through the years. Earl Strickland, hardly ever lost in the final. Mike Siegel, of course, known for it. May not have their best, but when it means the most, they seem to bring it.
Well, now 4 is the relevant number. 4 racks in front at 9-5, Albin Ouschan. And he only needs 4 more to be crowned the inaugural Hanoi 9-ball Open champion. You're right, though, he's had a tough path here. After beating Darren Young, he overcame Antonios Gakaris of Greece, 9-7 in a bruising marathon. That was in winners' qualification. But then, having reached single elimination, he's beaten some fine players: Chris Melling, Shane Van Boning, Alexander Kazakis, David Al-Kaidi, and of course the biggest scalp of the lot in terms of current form in the semi-finals earlier today, Ko Ping Chung.
Thank you. Rack 15. Albin Ouschan to break, leading by 9 racks to 5.
And arguably, this is the best layout we've seen in the entire match.
Yeah, very good layout. A little bit of a stretch here on the blue 2. But you can see right in front of him, he's got to play a little bit of a nice shot here to get on the 3 with the 8 near. But really set up to take what would be a very large lead into the latter half of this match, and his biggest lead of the match at 5 games.
This crowd are so animated when something miraculous happens. A scratch at the wrong time, or a fluke, an inspired shot. But in situations like this, you can hear a pin drop. Over 2,000 people in here. One of these players is going to triumph already. The tournament has triumphed.
Albin Ouschan felt like he could have won the opening 5 racks to take a 5-rack lead, of course. That didn't happen. Played the combo, scratched in the same shot. Shaw pulled it back, and he's got 6 balls to take that 5-rack lead. Didn't really see this coming as the match was pulled back from Jayson. Albin's just kept the heat on him though with the safety, stayed patient.
Yeah, I tell you that. I don't know if you remember the kick shot he made, going some 3 rails around, cutting the 3 in, and then didn't get out. He had gained some momentum right there, it seemed like, and just a few little things, but then mainly Albin playing the percentages and then playing very solid pull behind it.
Another big moment for me was in rack 4 when Jayson Shaw missed that very simple 7 with the rest.
Yeah. I think that was the game he kicked the ball in. Then he went 3 rails, came down, got short side position on the 4, and ended up having to play the ball with the rest.
Yeah, you're right. It was JJ. It was that very rack.
Doesn't want any flick.
Yeah, this needs to travel. Teasing the crowd. It's perfect on the 8 ball.
This is going to be one immaculately timed break and run out. Albin Ouschan has got significant breathing space, more than at any time in the match. He's now 5 ahead at 10-5, and Jayson Shaw is in crisis. Welcome back, everyone. Albin Ouschan has one hand on the Hanoi Open Trophy. He's played some composed, some disciplined pool, and he's up against an opponent who can be wonderfully inspired, but so far in this final hasn't been. The great upside, though, for Jayson Shaw is that if he gets on a roll, he can rattle off racks very quickly, and this deficit can be bridged. First, though, he's got to get back to the table. All kinds of balls were threatening to go in, but none did.
Pretty good split here for Jay. Just got to get round for this 3 ball. We've had a change of shirt.
Yeah, good call there. And I was going to say something's got to be a little different. Maybe that's a start. But one thing, even though Jayson is going to say, even though he's not going to be ever a slow player, can't be in a hurry to win these 5 games back. You can't do it quickly. Got to play good shots and really got to be on point with most things you do from here on out.
Please.
Albin usually so very good at these 2-rail kicks, whether he's coming across the ball trying to run the cue ball or coming underneath. This one sits on the fence for me. You could do either, whichever you felt good about. Yeah, but just keeping that cue ball on the top rail is so important.
Yeah, how good did he hit the kick shot there? It was vital, as you said, JJ. Keep the cue ball up there, keep the pressure on short, and that's what he's done the whole match.
Yeah, and really not the other way around is the big issue. Shaw hasn't really kept much pressure on Albin at all. And this ball's leaked out. And with so many balls on this end, you got to believe this guy's going to find a way to get the eclipse.
He has, and it's a total eclipse.
Yeah, for sure, and a 2-ball eclipse as well that I don't think offers much of a jump. Should be a 2-rail escape here. Big favorite to hit this. I like the speed he attacked with. I think that was pretty just, returning the snooker.
Now, Jayson Shaw is renowned as one of the game's great offensive players. He's got to start weaving his magic, or it will be too late.
A little unlucky unless the purple 5 passes the 8. He's falling pretty straight on the pink, which of course is an easy shot to make, but how do you draw position?
But you know, in the very first lag, he missed a ball not dissimilar to this. The 4 up the lung rail. And I think that set an early pattern. He looked jittery early on, and I think we've seen that a lot from Jayson Shaw in matches this season.
Yeah, this will go off the rail. We had a perfect view there. So all was not lost.
Someone shouts, "Come on, Jayson." The Scots prospects brightening to a degree. 10-6. Two of Europe's finest, two of the world's finest, the cream of the game going head to head in what's been a very eye-opening tournament.
Yeah.
Can Shaw somehow pull this out of the fire, Jeremy?
Well, absolutely he can. Again, the break shot can get any player going, and it's actually a dry break that slowed Albin down, and I didn't expect the dry break. We've had some awful kisses on the cue ball for Albin, really, that I think has kind of kept Jayson in this match, to be fair.
That's a nice break. A very good break. He does have some sort of shot, JJ, doesn't he?
Yeah, he absolutely does. He's close to it. He can play it light with a hair of a draw stroke, hold behind the 3, not only for position, but a little bit of a backdoor safety just in case he misses the blue 2. He's got to attack here. Yeah, the 4-6 combination lays just fine. It's a big shot to start. Oh yeah, this camera angle tells me it's very playable. Don't get over the 8 with the cue ball.
Little mini comeback could be brewing here.
Yeah, this looks nice. He can cheat it just a little bit. Yeah. But he knows he's got to cut the 4 just a touch. With top English, the 4 really shouldn't move much, though. Even though he's got to cut it just a little bit. Should be able to move to the rail and back above. Oh, he put a lot of speed into that. Kind of stunned it a little bit. Now a safety coming.
Yeah, he will not be shooting this ball up the rail. Got Albin in a world of trouble.
The secondary kiss on the pink 4 ball helped him enormously there.
Extension, please.
It's like a 1-rail kick. Could go 2 rails right before that left middle side pocket, but kind of like the 1-rail kick. I think a lot of good things can happen.
Pays to hit. He's made the hit. What is he left? He's left Shaw a chance. There's a few "come on Jays" get shouted out from this wonderful crowd here in Hanoi.
Yeah, not got the bulk of the racks, sure, but he's got the bulk of the support. Jayson Shaw is not missing this. The crowd loving it. Remember, he came back from 4-0 down to level at 5-5. Now he's trying to get back onto level terms once more. Still ways to go. Ouschan now 3 to the good. Exercise caution here, didn't he, by laying the hook on the 4, and the decision paid rich dividends.
Yeah, and I think it was a must there, but I'll tell you, every time from here on out, he gets in a position that he has to play safe. He knows that anything can happen with a kick shot or a jump, so it'll be some kind of sweater for Jayson Shaw and all these Jayson Shaw fans. Watch out for. Oh, what an awful position this is with the blue 2 hanging over the corner. And he is absolutely welded to the back of the pink. And the red 3's in the way. You can't even, like, you know, shoot the 4 at the 2 on a push out. Something that you don't see very often. And I think we may all learn something here. Can he roll the 4 up onto the red 3 while calling some type of push-out situation here? Yeah, and he would take on a kick at the blue 2 if he had one. He just doesn't have one. Can't get to the right side of the 6 to maybe go behind the 8. Still, though, Albin's going to take on any jump shot from here. It's just not totally ridiculous. Wow, what was that? Now what's he doing? See something I don't see? Didn't understand that one. Did you, Carl? I mean, I know it's going to be something crazy, but
maybe this is Jayson's favourite shot.
I'll
tell you what, it wasn't far away. That would have brought the roof off.
Zorro's in the building. Wow. The structural integrity of this venue might have been in danger had that made contact with the two. What an attempt, like one of those trick shots you see from those wonderful carom players.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, a crazy one. This has been a crazy final so far. There probably still more to come. I knew it was going to be something special, no matter what it was, but wow. Once it started to arc, it really took and actually kind of overcooked it, Phil. Still got some things to do in this rack, though. You can see the 6 and the 8 a little covered up, so anytime that 8's there, kind of be some work to get back on the 7.
I knew Shaw had put himself in trouble when Ouschan smiled. He rations those.
Yeah, Albin, it was kind of like one of those smiles. I love you, buddy, but you got to show me one here.
That was almost like that national park in your state, the Big Ben National Park. Not quite accurate enough.
Yeah, been there a few times. Okay, he's got to carry an angle on the 6. Okay, this is going to move over. You know, if he got right back where he was at now, that would be fine. I think he can do a little better. Oh, he's going to play short of it twice. So big shot. And anytime you're unloading on it a little bit, adding that speed, don't expect to miss. But if he comes twice, he could kind of fall on the rail kind of straight on the 7, making it very difficult to maybe get back on the 8. So he's trying to hit before the side, 2 rails back over for the 7 in the top left as we look at the overhead. This is what I was talking about, though. He could fall on the cushion, making it very difficult to get closer to that 8.
Yeah, can only go forward now by the looks of it. I've been watching closely Jayson Shaw. He does not look happy at all. He's really feeling it in the chair. That's all he could do. How big of a shot is this coming up now on this 8 ball?
Well, arguably the biggest shot of the match so far. And Shaw knows it.
Was it just a shot too much? This is the moment Jayson Shaw has been waiting for. He's been waiting for a little weakness.
I don't know about the speed on this. This could get a little awkward.
Anyone who writes off Jayson Shaw in any match, anywhere, does so at their peril. When he was 10-5 down, I thought there was a degree of raggedness creeping into his game. Now, though, at 10-8, it's anyone's. You know, every great tournament should have a great final. It doesn't always work out that way, but I think we've got one here. So many twists and turns thus far. Expect more.
He's got a shot here, Phil. He has a shot on the one ball. Yeah, the one ball actually hit the middle point and come back to leave this shot. Five to the 6, that's the purple 5 to the green 6. It's going to be the big shot.
When we went to our break, I was watching the two players. Both of them left the arena, both returned with cooling towels. They are feeling the heat, literally and figuratively. It's boiling in here.
Yeah, got quite a bit of angle to the side there on the pink 4. Make a decision. The 6-9 combination, not the worst one if you're in position. Is he going into these? I really feel he's almost got to play the 6-9 combination. Doesn't have to, but from the 6 to the 7, not only 5 to the 6, but 6 to the 7, unless you get perfect. Very difficult.
I don't blame him for playing that, JJ. I think it all depends on the person, how good you are at playing the combinations. Playing this into the side, running 2-3 rails. Well, he's drawed it. Thought he was going forward with a cue ball. I'll tell you what, that was a nice shot. We have a final on again for the second time.
Break and runouts are Jayson Shaw's calling card. In this match, they've been in short supply. He won the 7th rack with 1, now he's won the 19th. When you consider he's got the straight pool world record, 669 consecutive balls. From here, well, 6 times 9, 54. He'd love to do that. But the way the match has gone, can't see it somehow. The exchanges have been disjointed, scrappy. And break and runouts are an exception to the norm. Although for Shaw there, gratefully received.
Yeah, absolutely, Phil. And be a great time to find that break and continue with it.
Trailing by 10 racks to 9.
Now it'll matter how much of a sliver of the 9 he's got to go over if he takes on the jump now. And you know, if you're making other balls, really not the worst thing if you miss the 1, but you can't depend on that moving forward, I don't think.
Well, he's got the small cue in his hand, so he's popping it over the edge of the 9. Not sure what's happened there. Maybe he can't quite reach it.
I think he's got to roll out to the kick here. I think he's got to. Go ahead, Carl.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think the problem he's thinking is, it's all right rolling out and doing all this, but I think he knows he's second favourite in this department. Was it asking a little bit too much, JJ?
Yeah, and what happens is you try to hit it as full as you can going to the pocket because you know it's so dangerous, and there it just didn't work out. Now, does the 2 pass the 5? I don't think so. So can he easily get out for the 2 in the lower right corner with the cue ball near the rail? May dig on this. I think that was a smart play. I was about to comment, not the worst thing to go ahead and bump the 2. Not sure if he really got a pocket past the 5. Or, excuse me, the pink 4.
He's just chipping it next to the 4, isn't he? Using the brown 7 as the hook ball.
I think he's chopping it in. Oh no, he's playing your safety.
Well short of the mark.
Yeah, and he's just got to hold the ball here.
The crowd getting excited again as that 9-ball tracked.
Ooh. Yeah, I could see Jayson as he walked to the table. Again, he wasn't happy. He was showing his frustration. But JJ, he laid the hook. Albin was always going to hit the 2-ball.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, big favorite. That's why these players stay aggressive, because of the incoming player here on the World 9-Ball Tour is going to hit the ball at a high percentage.
Yeah, like now, I mean, Albin's not going to miss the 2. If he goes off the left rail, he could pot the 2. Going off the right rail, he's guaranteed to hit.
I'd be curious to see how he hits this. Okay, he's hitting downward, so he's going to try and he's trying to make this somewhere. So the safety should be easy, tucking him behind the 5. Just got to make sure you don't fluke the 2 in up table somewhere, or another ball like the 8. Jayson very good at these types of shots. Could go for the side. Difficult though when you're so close to it.
I think with Jayson, he's just desperate to win one of these open events, JJ. That's what it is. I think he understands the little ups and downs in the game in 9-ball. Of course he does. But I think overall, I mean, if we rewind the clock about an hour and 20 minutes, he would snap your hand off to be 10-9 down. He's in a fantastic position in this final. Good kick shot there.
I'll tell you, it's a kick shot that I tell some players it's way overlooked, is the soft kick. Amazing how often the balls can kind of land on top of each other and you can survive to maybe kicking another one, but at least it's surviving. And not only that, with the soft kick, or let's say medium soft, you tend to be pretty accurate as well.
Was there not?
Seconds were ticking away there. In the end, played that one a little hurriedly.
Yeah, you can see Jayson talking with himself, probably something like, I play the safety, I can't come away with a shot. Boy, what a big one here.
No extension left for Albin. Ouschan started to miss a few balls now. This is why you've got to be patient. The occasion is big. Both players have never experienced this type of arena, this type of crowd playing in one of these open events. We've had big crowds, a fantastic crowd at the European Open, also the Spanish Open, but it just feels different here. It's felt different all week.
Yeah, in terms of numbers, in terms of enthusiasm, in terms of long-term significance, this is in a league of its own.
Yeah, pretty heavy here. Don't know if he can get all the way down on the 5, and if not, he's going to have to really work the cue ball. Oh, this could be trouble. This could be real trouble. And I thought he might just go with a high ball and then have to shoot the 5 and go up and down and really have to work a lot, but maybe trying to get a lot out of that shot there.
You know, the whole rack just felt massive, didn't it? We're coming to the end of this final now. These type of moments, these mistakes seem very highlighted.
"10 weeks to Christmas," and that was the gift that Ouschan really wanted. But he's still got to pot these 3 balls. Nothing is a given at this stage.
And so often we talk about these spots, being able to keep your head, much like the Mosconi Cup. It's a big part of it.
Albin Ouschan, with a little help from his friend, an intentional help, has re-established a 2-rack buffer zone. Ralph Eckert, the European Mosconi Cup captain, is in the crowd. If Albin Ouschan were to win this one, Carl, snap off this title, under this pressure, in front of this crowd, surely his worth to the European team would zoom through the roof, and his worth for the European team right now is significant.
Yeah, I agree, Phil. Even if he was to lose the final or even the semi-final this morning, you know, he's played in a lot of Mosconi Cups, he's won big points, he's been on the winning side God knows how many times. You know, he was always going to be in the conversation. And when you look at the players just below him, it's kind of a bit of a weird one, because I often hear the statement Europe could have 3 or 4 teams. I don't believe they could. You know, when you're looking at picking rookies, you're a brave man to send a rookie out into that type of environment. So I'm sure Ralph Eckert knows Albin Ouschan's CV in that very tournament. This will just probably highlight that, winning this event here.
Yeah, it's a point you brought up that I've talked to some other American players about. They keep talking about how deep Europe is. We'll go ahead and pick a few of them and let's go.
Well, we're looking at a 2-9 combination, but look at the distance between the 2 balls. Huge.
He's not the type of player to play silly shots like that. He'll find some naughty little safety. Big rack for Ouschan. If he can win this one, he's on the hill with a bit of breathing space. And that's what you need in a final. You feel like you want a couple of goes at something. Just makes you go back to the chair and you feel nice and relaxed.
Probably wants to push through on the 2. Could play the 2 between the 3-4, coming a couple rails behind the green 6 if he felt good about it. Could cross the 2 over and run the cue ball as well. That's the prudent play. Just like this. Well, I'm looking right down the barrel. He's got to swerve this a bit. Can't just go with just English, I don't think anyway. I think he's got to elevate the back end. And watch out for the scratch on the slick table. Oh, really nice. Really nice.
Yeah, well controlled. Took a gamble on the 2 ball. It was all about the cue ball. Played it very well.
This match has been categorised as fire against ice. There is something in that. But while Ouschan's a cool customer, don't underestimate Shaw's competitive instincts.
And have you ever seen a player that controls the object ball? Now, we all play the cue ball well because the natural path, but to control the speed and the hits on the object ball, like Albin Ouschan does time and time again, and those things there make a huge difference in squeezing out those extra games, which leads to matches and then again wins in big events. Got to get some spin on this. Oh, he went for the cut.
It's hard stopping pool. We've seen higher quality, let's be frank. But in terms of incident, this final is right up there.
Here's another one of those 2 rails behind it. Watch out for the brown 7, kind of stopping the movement of the blue 2.
Just so good at this, JJ. He's just so good at it.
Yeah, and that's all you can do there is hold the rock, take your chances, make your opponent earn it from distance.
Extension code.
Yeah, and this type of shot in this environment, this pocket looks a lot smaller. Oh, that was well hit. Time that one.
You can go forward or backwards with the cue ball.
He's hanging on in, JJ, isn't he? He really is.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the key to when you're behind is keep fighting. You never know what may give.
This is wonderful theatre. Jayson Shaw is so desperate to get his hands on major silverware again, and he might still do it. The deficit just 1 now, 11-10.
Here's a look back at such a crucial game, and probably the best effort from Jayson on the long ball.
Track 22. Jayson short to break. Railing 11-10.
Shaw was level at 5-5. He's not been tied since. Can he rectify that here and now?
There goes the 1 ball. The 4 ball needs to get out of the way. Oh, where's the 2 ball finish, JJ? Is it touching the point, or is it right over that middle pocket?
Well, we'll get a look here at the overhead, but he's got to keep his, I think it's a playable shot here. I don't know, it may have settled on that point. He may be able to go for a kick here with some speed, trying to catch the second rail, chip the 2 on the side, and go up for the 3.
Really wears his heart on his sleeve, doesn't he? You know exactly what he's thinking at any given point, whether he's losing or he's winning. Or even if he wants to punch you, JJ, he will let you know through his facial expressions.
Well, I think it does go. He's a favorite here.
This could bring the roof down. 2 rail kick. It's there. He's on the 3 ball.
Do you remember the old film Mad Max? Thunderdome. Thunderous reaction to that shot. Here, 2 men enter, only 1 man will leave with the trophy.
And what a time to start finding the break shot.
Yeah, found the break shot. Had to play a nice 2 rail kick, as JJ said. He was a favourite, but you still got to get down and deliver the shot. It's easy sat where we are sat. There goes the cue. He's celebrating like he's won. This is to tie the match up.
Well, Jayson wants it like this. He wants the crowd involved.
He's up against a man who's studious, but he's the showman. It's 11-11. All of these matches, all of these racks over the course of 6 days. Well over 200 competitors here, and now it's all distilled down to a best of 3. And one general point, Carl and Jeremy. The World 9-Ball Tour just keeps on producing.
It certainly does. We have been blessed with some fantastic finals, haven't we, JJ, this season? This one's really delivered. Looked like it was going to be one-sided. But boy, has this turned into an absolute classic.
11 racks each.
I don't know about you, but the blue 2's coming up near the cue ball. Got to figure he's going to get something. But it's almost like the fans are willing this on. Not for this match to go anything but to the bitter end.
Yeah, as this 2 ball come up, it looked like it was just going to miss the cue ball. That's what he's faced with. It will cut in, but boy, I don't know what he can do with the cue ball. Not a lot. Looking at that expression rather.
Can he play it by the 6 some kind of way and really get the cue ball moving in that direction? I think the other corner he's really cut off. This way to me is scary. It's a scary shot to me. Does he have a free one here to play in the corner, coming behind the 4 and 8 with the cue ball? Does play. I think he's got to go here.
He's definitely got to go. Right in the middle of the pocket.
And this is where the adrenaline goes, and he totally forgets about the mistakes throughout the match.
Watch out, cue ball. It's okay. Well, Jayson's heart must be pumping now, not because the cue ball is not on a string, because the crowd are involved in every shot.
Yeah, no angle here. So what he does best.
The shot of the match for me, that in terms of technique, queuing over the middle pocket, that was brilliant under that immense pressure. Brilliant.
Yeah, this has got a little funny, even though it became natural now. He can level out, go to the top rail.
He was queuing right over the middle of that pocket. He had to screw back with power. He did it, and now look at this.
Didn't play for that pocket.
No, he's a little jacked at the moment.
Again, the crowd really into this, and Jayson Shaw is as well. He's found that renowned inspiration, I'm going to say, at the right time. 12-11. He takes the lead for the first time in the match, and bear in mind he was 4-0 down. He was 10-5 down. At that point he looked dispirited. He isn't now. He's loving life. And the 5-ball to the middle for me was just wonderful.
Yeah, well said, Phil. Fully agree. They're a lot easier than they look into them side pockets, but they're nasty shots. Shaw is on the hill. JJ, did you see this one coming?
No, and the last two break and runs have been incredible, and what a time to pull him out. I don't know if he's had any break and runs the entire match. Maybe one early.
He had one in rack 7 and then 3 in the last 5.
Wow.
Where's the 9-ball? Does the 2 cut?
No, he's got to look at the blue 2. I believe the way he knocks the ball in, he could cut at this, but wow. What a difficult shot. It does play into the corner. Cue ball would go into the 7, I believe. I don't think he's going to look. I think he's looking at the edge. I really think he's looking at the edge of this blue 2 here when he backed off the ball.
Is he playing it thin, or is he playing it off the 6? What's he looking at here, JJ?
No, he's looking to fan it in, Carl.
Thin it in?
Absolutely. And I don't mind it, as long as he doesn't rush it too much.
Well, he is called Eagle Eye.
Definitely cuts. Your shot's playable as well. It needs a tie English, though. Your shot does. The 2 off the 6. If you play it with draw, you're really gambling.
What about the safety shot, JJ? Let's just slow things down a little bit.
Well, I mean, he's trying to do it his way.
Well, we didn't see the bank, did we? He's ripped the bank in.
Given the temperature in here, we've seen plenty of perspiration. Now we're seeing inspiration.
Yeah. And Albin Ouschan's got to, even though he hates it, he's got to appreciate what he's seeing as well. Oh, silky smooth there. That was a little tougher than he made it look. And now really one nice positional shot away, maybe 2. from absolutely stealing this title from the Austrian champion. Well, he was worried about the 7 and he really killed the cue ball.
Yeah, just bear down, make sure you pop the 5 ball here. Shaw has missed the 5 ball from nowhere.
And now the Albin Ouschan cheering section find their voice.
Extension, please.
Just kind of quit on the shot a little bit, didn't he, JJ?
You read my mind, and I also thought he would go ahead and just let it zing back and forth. He had a path between the 6-7. And when nerves are high, I think #1 mistake from the better players is they kind of quit at impact a little bit. I know that's my biggest problem, or was rather.
JJ, you said he was 1 or 2 shots away. You've been around the block, you've been around the pool table a good few years. You called that one an absolute treat. Just shows you what the moment, shows you what the pressure can do. Jayson Shaw would pot that ball 50 out of 50 on the practice table. One of the best potters we've ever seen. But Phil, if you're on the fence, Hill is what you want.
Albin bearing down on that 8 ball.
He's feeling it, JJ. Didn't want to come back for the 9. He just played it at pocket speed.
Yeah, well, Albin commented how much he was feeling it in the semifinal. We'll see here in the Case game.
The crowd in Hanoi whipped into a frenzy, and quite rightly so. This has been a classic. Just one question remains. Who will be victorious in Vietnam? Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah, I'd like to take a little 6-5 on the push out after the break. Seems like it always happens. And Jayson just didn't expect the pink 4 to die a little bit off the rail. Of course, he wanted to kill it, didn't want to take a chance of getting snookered.
Thank you.
The way this tournament's been, groundbreaking,
Final rack,
unpredictable,
Albin Ouschan to break.
wonderful. What about a golden break?
Well, I've always said if you have a chance to win the match or a tournament and you don't get another, I've always been very harsh in saying it serves you right. However, I'd love to see a push out like JJ just called, because the crowd, I think they deserve a dramatic final rack here. It's 12-12, Mr. Ouschan to break.
Oh!
Oh my word!
We've seen that kiss by the side pocket all tournament, but what a time for it to happen, Carl.
Is it destiny for Shaw to snap off his first Open event on the World 9-ball tour? He's had a chance. It was a good chance. He's got chance number 2. He's going to be feeling it. Nothing's easy now. Doesn't matter where the balls are unless it's a dead set combo. Anything is possible.
Yeah, I was going to say, stay away from that side pocket. I don't use the side rail either here. I either draw out for the angle for the 3 in the corner or the 3 in the side. I think it was the side rail that confused him in the last rack. No reason to get in too much of a hurry.
Yeah, he's okay there, JJ. He's actually fine. Just pull this back. Just wants to slow down a little bit. Just make sure. This is not a race. Well, it's a race to 13.
It's It's really going to be the 8 ball, it looks like, Carl. That's going to be the only maybe question mark.
Yeah, and where the 8 ball is, JJ, you just want to be off that rail, don't you? The worst case scenario would be tight on the rail. Even where the cue ball is now would be ideal.
He's a little distance away off angle on the 6, so he's got to pay attention. He's going to rely on what he does best, knocking in the long ones.
3 pots away from glory.
This looks good, JJ. This looks perfect, in fact. Absolutely perfect. He can just pull the cue ball back with a little low right English. This is it, folks. It's this 9 ball.
If you don't like noise, cover your ears. Magnificent. Marvelous. Magical. Jayson Shaw jumps onto the table in triumph. He is victorious in Vietnam, and listen to this reaction. We knew coming here the crowd would be a major plus in this tournament. We never in our wildest dreams anticipated what would happen. You know, he played his first match against Fu Chi Wei on an outside table. A large crowd assembled. We knew then he was very popular here. We didn't realise the full extent. There's his wife. She's delighted, and rightfully so. It's been a trying year for Jayson Shaw. Now, though, he's on the pinnacle. He is the 2023 Hanoi 9-ball Open champion. He's up to 5th in the World 9-ball Tour rankings. He'd already secured his place automatically in Europe's Mosconi Cup team, and now in the most thrilling final you could ever wish to see, he's edged the gallant and ultimately unlucky Albin Ouschan by 13 racks to 12. I've been commentating on Q Sports for over 30 years, and I've never seen anything like that match and that crowd reaction. It was, in the end, phenomenal. I think they're ready for the prize presentation when the silverware and that 30,000 first prize will be handed out.
Well, what a final that was, ladies and gentlemen. You've been treated to an absolute classic. You really have. I'm here with Jayson Shaw. Jayson, quick reaction. That was incredible. It really was.
Yeah, unbelievable. You know, the full match was just a bit strange. Both of us made some bad errors in the match, but I thought once I got in front at 12-11 and I made the bank shot, I thought I was out. And the 4 ball, I nearly missed the 4 ball. I played it that bad. That's why I ended up short on the 5. But that last break was disgusting. Oh my God, that scratch was horrible.
Albin, it was disgusting. He summed it up. I thought you played a fantastic final. I know you're devastated. You've won enough in the sport, but you must feel proud of the final you've just played in front of this absolute crazy fan base here in Hanoi.
I think it's a little bit too early to celebrate here, but yeah, crazy. Actually, when I saw how I hit the 1 ball, I would have never thought a scratch with 2 kicks, but it happened. Fair play to Jayson. He played a great match. I think we both played a great match. So, yeah, it is what it is in the end. Congratulations.
Final word, Jayson, before the presentation. What a week it's been. You've been out and about, you've been going for dinner, you've been signing autographs for chefs, children. What do you make of all this?
I'm moving to Vietnam. No, just incredible. You know, since we arrived, we just felt welcome with open arms, and I just want to say thank you to every single person that came here over the week and everybody that put this event on. It's not easy, and thanks for everybody coming today, because this was something I'll never forget.
Yeah, well said. It's now time for our presentation. CEO of Matchroom Multisport, Miss Emily Fraser. Your runner-up, Mr. Albin Ouschan. And I'm here with a certain legend, the GOAT, Efren Batareyas. He will give Jayson Shaw the trophy for the historic Hanoi Open Pool Champion, Mr. Jayson Shaw.
What a great tournament. Look at this crowd. Carl, JJ, what has been your highlight of this tournament?
Yeah, it's been incredible. Just look at all the confetti. Jayson Shaw, he's still celebrating, and why not? Because he has been a part of something special, hasn't he, JJ? The crowd have been unbelievable here.